Hello everyone, I am Agent Wyvern and today I will be reviewing LEGO Knights Kingdom for the Game Boy Advance. Unfortunately, unlike some of the other LEGO games of the time, in my view it's not really an entertaining experience. LEGO Knights Kingdom is an action-adventure game developed by Razorback Developments and published by THQ in 2004. You play as one of a group of LEGO Knights in your quest to stop an evil Shadow Knight from taking over the kingdom. To do this, you make your way through a series of levels, battling some fairly uninteresting enemies and activating a lot of switches. A lot of switches. Like seriously, it feels like most of this game is just wandering around trying to find the next switch to be able to advance. It's really not great. The basics of the combat gameplay involves attacking with your sword and blocking with your shield, as well as having some lightning attacks. The routine of most fights is just block, attack, block, attack, block, attack, and since the majority of the enemies attack on a repeating rhythm, you don't need to put much thought into what you're doing, which just makes it feel dull and repetitive. Sometimes it can get a little more interesting if you get enemies with different attack speeds hitting you at the same time and you have to time an opening, but they often then just line up their attacks again and we're back to the land of repetition. I think I would have preferred something like a telegraphed attack system where you have to react to what you see, just to make it feel a bit more engaging. The lightning attacks are more interesting, especially as you can unlock different types as you progress. Sometimes they do feel quite situational though, as in many instances you get rushed quickly by enemies, meaning it's difficult to fire the lightning without taking damage, since the charge up gets interrupted if you're hit. The level design just feels linear, generic and boring, with switches everywhere as well as what seems like wave after wave of the same enemies. Like there were a couple of times where I thought there was something special I had to do to advance to the next section, because there was just wave after wave approaching me with the same enemies and they kept respawning. But no, all I had to do was wade my way through them all. Also, why do some of the enemies stand up again before they die? It's like knock them down, do the final blow, and all of a sudden they pop back up again before they disappear. That's quite odd. You can pick up some side quests by talking to people. They usually require you to do some straightforward task for a collectible, such as collect a potion, or save someone from enemies, or put out hay bale fires with some lightning. Sure, why not? Graphically, the game isn't all that pleasant to look at in my opinion, especially in areas where you have really jagged textures and edges, but at least some of the knights look like they're doing the Mr. McMahon walk. The soundtrack is relatively nice, even if it does repeat quite a lot. It almost reminded me of something like RuneScape in a way, and it really fit the medieval fantasy theme they were going for. There are also some other game modes in the game. Firstly, there's the Tournament Arena, which consists of melee combat, an oddly nice jousting game, and lightning combat. The melee combat was pretty much like the rest of the game and rather uninteresting. The basic jousting game was probably one of the few times I found some semblance of fun, however brief, with its basic but at least somewhat engaging controls. The lightning combat can be just won literally by doing nothing other than holding down the shield button and waiting for the AI to destroy themselves with their own lightning. You can also play a multiplayer mode in the game if that's your thing. There's a last man standing game where you can see how long you can survive against waves and waves of enemies, or until boredom completely sets in. Funnily enough, this mode can also be cheesed by holding down the shield button and watching the enemy's lightning attacks almost endlessly get reflected. While playing through LEGO Knights Kingdom, I forgot I was even playing a LEGO game. It lacks any of the charm or fun of other LEGO titles, and while I get that they might have wanted to go in a completely different direction and try to use the IP in a different way, I just found there to be very little that was endearing or at all enjoyable. Like, it felt awful if I died and had to redo a level because of just how boring I found it. In conclusion, LEGO Knights Kingdom is, in my opinion, a really boring generic game that I found to be a real slog to play through. I'm going to give this game a rating of 4 out of 10. If you've played LEGO Knights Kingdom before, what did you think? Please let me know down in the comments and subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews like this. Thank you very much for watching and I hope you all have a wonderful day.